Welcome viewers to a wet and rainy review of an absolutely extraordinary car. We have the Audi RS6 Avant Performance with a couple of nice optional extras in here to make it look all nice and pretty. And I am delighted to give you the rundown of this bad boy today. So without any further ado, let's do a nice little wrap around and start checking out the space in this bad boy.
Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
Alrighty guys, the RS6 Performance has 565 litres of boot space, button operated, also on the key fob. Really like how the roller here folds up out of the way as the door opens. Just one less thing for you to worry about. You have a nice little netted compartment on the side to store things, but this really nice roller set up in here with a net so that you can clamp down anything in the boot. There's extra points on either side, a little light, and also you can use the top tether points for the child seats if they're not in use for child seats already, as extra netting anchor points. Love the idea. On top of that, you do have quick release here for the back seats if you need them. Also lock the car from the boot. Space in the back here is exceptional for adults. I'm 5'11" and have plenty of leg room. You have a nice touch screen here for your air conditioner settings, a 12-volt socket and 2 USB ports. You have air conditioner vents on the pillars and in the center. You continue the lovely leather trim and netting on the back of the seats. Top of that, you have this bad boy, which has a whole host of extra storage. Look at that. Very nice. You do have a moonroof here and lighting, and there's even these cool little hook points for you to put your shirts, your business suit, etc. on. There's actually 2 of them here, which is really handy, guys. They have thought about this as your work estate car. Again, leasing. That's where you want this bad boy. Really nice, guys. You continue the carbon fiber through the back here and the lovely stainless steel. It is a very premium place to be, as you'd expect. It is really lovely in here. Again, you can have 2 child seats in the back here, and I do love the blue seat belts to match the color of the car. That kind of level of detail, simple but epic. Alrighty, the interior of the RS6 Avant Performance. So we have a head-up display, displays your GPS as well when you're in there, and has a nice performance mode, as you can see here. Also reflected in your normal gauge cluster. You can see temp, fuel on the right. That's RS2 mode, and back to efficiency. Now in the center here, you can control plenty. So you've got your fuel consumption, phone, and of course our navigation, which Audi is famous for. Love this feature, always have. Then back over here, we can go through driver assist, short-term memory consumption. Then you can press the little, what do you call that, a menu button, and you have all these other options. Things like so. And then we go back, sports displays, G meter, tire pressures, power and torque. Very fancy, guys. In eco mode, I always just like to see the fuel consumption. It's me personally. Alrighty, over to the right, we have some lovely carbon fiber and some metal lock and unlock buttons, and that's just for the lighting features. Lovely Alcantara steering wheel, cannot rave about that enough. very appropriate on this model. Lovely paddle shifters, although they're a bit short. I do like the feel, they're fully metal. You have your phone buttons on the right, your media controls, your RS button, which goes from whichever mode you're in to RS1 to RS2 and then flicks back over to whichever mode you started in. Here is where we control the menus and the view. Here we have our standard Audi infotainment with wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So we have the standard Audi navigation, radio, media, go car for a second, RS monitor. This is actually lovely, this. So you got your G-forces, you got your temperature settings, or warnings I should say, tire pressure, once we're moving that all dials itself in. You have your drive select, which also has, most importantly, your ride height adjustment. Now I do find it a little bit annoying because you have to press the driver select buttons down here to bring up this menu quickly, but then it also disappears quickly, and you can't raise the car to its highest setting while moving too fast. So it leaves you in a bit of a predicament sometimes where you're trying to fumble through the buttons just to get it to raise, but just be slow enough. It's all just a little bit of a fumble, but it works, everything works. It just sometimes can be a little bit annoying. And it seems like if you do it through the menu here, as we can see, it's not going away, which is what you want. So maybe instead of hitting driver select, you are better off hitting home, car, and then the driver select. But even so, that's still a fair few clicks away, when really I just want to raise it up if I need to for a speed bump or something like that. Alrighty, below that we have the next screen, which is all our air conditioning settings. We also have the auto start stop there, very important, self-parking, screens on and off, and then you control each side of the front cabin through this menu. And honestly, one of the best things about Audis, you can also see cooled and heated seats. Personally, I'm using the cooled seat at the moment and it does not do much. I got to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed. I can barely feel it and it's on its highest setting. So I wish that was better. But otherwise, that's all we do here. But the biggest thing I want to mention here, guys, is also, although there's a bit of glare at the moment, you've got all your parking and assist settings in full button form and another media control there and your start stop. But what I've always loved about Audis is they put a lot of attention and effort into the gear selectors in most models. So what I mean by that is if I'm resting here, I have finger touch distance to all the buttons here and they're so easy and all the buttons are big. So it's easy to maneuver this touchscreen. And although people don't like touchscreens, this one is honestly one of the best because the buttons are big, easy to see. There is a click that you can hear when you hit it, so you know that you're touching it. And it's just super comfy and ergonomic. Honestly, it is rather good. Now these cup holders, they look tiny, but just to demonstrate, I've got a big can here and not only does it fit, but it's gripped. So if you do drive this thing aggressively, your drink's not going anywhere. You also have your park brake and your auto hold here. Now in the center, wireless charging bay, 2 USB ports, and a nice little storage thing for sunnies or a wallet. Alrighty, and tell me guys, I love this option of the exposed carbon fiber. Now that does cost money to add that option to this car. I think it was about $2,100. I will confirm that, but 100% I would do it. You can get it in blue, red, or a nice sort of grey black version, which is probably like your traditional carbon fiber, but I think they try and tie it to the grey of the car. Just a lovely option, really. I love that the roof is black. You have a sunroof at the front and a moonroof at the back, and of course the stitching when you option the design pack is adjustable, so you do get red, grey, or blue. And nice comfy seats, very huggy. I like the seat belts, how they match the color of the car as well. Really nicely tied together in here. Nice cabin, comfy cabin. The only comments really is the cooled seats don't work as good as I'd like. And this here can shift forward and back. Now that's lovely, but sometimes it just does it. You just put your hand on there and it needs to be a little bit harder to shift forward, I think, personally. I do like the Alcantara finish just in a couple of extra spots, like down here and on the doors, guys. Look at that. I just love Alcantara, and everything looks so premium. You got leather, like really nice leather. You have nice proper stainless steel with the buttons and the door handle, carbon fiber and Alcantara. Expensive cabin, and so it should be for this car, and it just feels amazingly premium in here. Amazingly premium, guys. Enjoy. Quick note, guys, cameras are phenomenal, and of course you have the signature Audi 3D, which is in great high definition. I'm getting to the point now where it's time to start asking them to make it the color of the car you get, because why not be a bit extra, you know? Love the top down view. I feel that's a must on every car. I'm glad they've got it. There you go, guys. Alrighty, the driving of the Audi RS6 Performance. Okay guys, so we're in eco mode, and the spec sheet says about 11 litres per 100. We've been finding it's more about 13, but in saying that, it is a lovely car to put your foot down in, so that's probably down to us. Now in efficiency mode, it is so quiet in here. You ready? There's a V8 in there with 2 turbos. Barely hear it, but there is some road noise. Alrighty guys, these tires and these 22-inch wheels, 285s, they're big, very big. So there is some road noise, and they're very sticky, so they will pick up all the stones in the world. But the price you pay for good grip. Don't forget, this car has 4-wheel steering. So efficiency mode is great for going around town, nice and comfy. The suspension's nice and soft. You do have that road noise, here's some bumps, but you live with it for the other side of the fence. This car really, with the 4-wheel steering, it just happens to turn in and turn out really nicely and makes it feel a lot smaller than it is. This is a heavy car, 2.2 tons, and it is a long car, and you really, it takes that element out just a little. The thing I found is I still feel the weight. You can feel it's there, but this car is capable of doing a lot more with that weight than you're naturally used to in your mind. I've done a lot of track driving, I've done a lot of driving in different cars, and you have a general sense of what the performance versus the weight versus the brakes can do in this department, and this one just, it surprises you. It can do things that you didn't think that kind of weight could do. So they've done an amazing job of honing this car and making it easily one of the best wagons on the market, but for a price. Now, on top of that, I've found that in sports mode, fuel consumption gets pretty thirsty. I've been sitting between 17 and 20 litres per 100 if driving in sports mode, and that is a lot, guys. This was almost $180 to fill up, and you can easily go through that in 2 or 3 days if you're having fun. So just be mindful of that, guys. It is thirsty. I love the carbon fiber in here. This is just amazing. It really is. Cockpit in here, guys, it's ergonomically so sound in here. It's really quiet aside from a bit of the roads noise if you get on a rough road, but the car and cabin itself is quiet. Everything feels well built. Ergonomically, you sit rather nice. It hugs you nicely. The seatbelts hug you, and you have that nice selector to sort of rest your hand on from time to time, which allows you to ergonomically access all the buttons rather nicely. This steering wheel is phenomenal. The Alcantara, the shape of it, the design, they have really spent a lot of time in here making sure that the driver feels not only special but comfortable, and to make it dial in and feel like the car is. This is a high performance vehicle. This is, honestly, it's a supercar in a wagon shell. It's a super wagon, there's no doubt about it. Twin turbo V8, you just can't get away from that. You really can't. Alrighty viewers, let's put her into sports mode and listen to this lovely engine. Oh, I love the sound of that. Ooh, snap, crackle and pop. Oof. Like I was saying earlier, viewers, this thing corners amazing. Oof. Little bit of wheel spin there, being that it's wet. Gear change is super smooth, silky smooth, really are, guys. Oof. She just pulls like crazy, guys. Honestly, this thing is so wild. I just can't help but smile. Those who own these are going to get in a lot of trouble. It's just facts. It's just facts. It really is. But let's get down to the nitty gritty. Is it enough performance to track? Heck yeah. There is enough coolers on this thing. When you go home at night, even if you've been putting and you turn it off, I dead set, it sits there for 5 to 10 minutes, just cooling everything down. And that just shows that they have the track in mind. It really does. When you see the front brakes and the absolute mammoth size of them, the lightweight wheels, mind you, not only are the lightweight wheels good for track use, and not only do they look great, easy to clean, guys. Don't forget that. There's not much to them, which makes it easy to clean, and we love that. Wheels sometimes are an absolute punish to clean. These, piece of pie, honestly. So, cornering, braking, phenomenal. Cornering, you still feel the weight, guys. Don't let me disillusion you with that. The weight is here, but they do a phenomenal job of making it just a background thought and not something that controls how you drive the car. You drive this car performance first, and it absorbs the bumps rather well. It's very stiff in race mode, and even in the softest setting, it still is probably on the stiffer side. But I'm someone who, I drive a four-wheel drive every day, and honestly, this is not that bad. Anyone walking around saying this is too stiff and all that nonsense, no, just no. This is on point. Now, on top of that, it does, because of the weight, you do feel it when it really pulls, it squats at the rear very strongly, and that is very handy because it subdues a lot of that wayward roll with a big car. If you remember in a Commodore or a Falcon, when you put your foot down, it just felt like a bit boaty and it would float around and lumber along and sort of weave a little. This has got none of those issues at all. Alrighty, guys, they really keep that knit. And honestly, it is a daily driver that is mildly compromised, but the value for the compromise is off the charts. However, at the price point, it is not for mere mortals. Honestly, even if you earn a couple $100,000 a year, this still doesn't really, to me, make a lot of sense as your daily driver. I would probably have to be a millionaire before I even considered this thing as a daily driver. But that's just me. Hey, if you can lease it, problem solved. Problem solved. The only downside to leasing it, you're going to have to give it back at some point, and you're not going to want to, I can tell you. There is no way you are going to want to give this back. I don't want to give it back. I'm not looking forward to this afternoon. They're going to have to pry the keys out of my hands. I'm not even kidding, because it is just that much fun. I'm honestly not even getting a red line, guys, because there's just so much power there. But on the anchors, hard into the corner, the nose is nice and light, but turns so sharp because of the rear wheel steering, and you can just power straight out like nothing else. This is honestly a massive smile maker, guys. It just puts a smile on your face, and when you drive past people with this V8, puts a smile on their face. Smiles all around. It is a phenomenal car, guys, and easily one of the best wagons. The M3 wagon is probably the only thing that would come close to this, I think. And even then, although it's, from what I remember, it's a little bit cheaper, but the performance is a little bit less, I believe. We'll have to double check that for me. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. Don't worry, I can hack it. But honestly, just hearing this engine all day, if you can afford to do that so that you can hear it all day, then good on you, because that is a good time. It has a lot of character about it, this car, and it has a lot of fame. This is what I'm going to do now, guys, is put it back into auto mode and just with the nice V8 in the background, and I want to go through this car as a package. So I am blown away by the amount of people when I talk to them and I go, what's the one car you want, the one car you'd buy if you won lotto, all those kinds of things. The amount of times this car is mentioned blows my mind. I'm a massive car fan. Lamborghini's close to my heart. I would always go straight for a Lamborghini, but, and own under the same group, I even think this engine's in the Urus, or at least parts of it, so very close to. But this car is the one that everyone wants. Everyone wants this car, everyone knows it, and it has status. It has a lot of status, this car. Its name precedes itself, and I can definitely see why. I really can. It is, but one thing that still is a bit interesting for me is this. It's got supercar performance in a daily shell. It's got room for the whole family, but it's not an SUV. And yet it has such fame about it, even though it seems to sit outside of what you would call the popular car types at the moment. You know, your SUVs are climbing by the day, your utes are climbing by the day. It's neither of those. Wagons and estates, they're declining, but yet this car is still absolutely famous and renowned among car enthusiasts everywhere, and even everyday people. People who aren't even car enthusiasts love this car and want one. And that says something about it. If it is that renowned and that desired, then it must be pretty good. And I'm so glad that I finally got the chance to experience it and see why that is. I still think it perplexes me a little why I need this much power for the daily. Honestly, you don't. But if you can afford it, it is an absolute pleasure to have, let me tell you. I would, if I could afford it, it would be lovely to drive and listen to this soundtrack on the way to work every day. I would love it, and I'd chew through fuel and tyres, I'm sure, by the bucket loads. But it also has plenty of room in the back. It has an awesome boot, and I love how they just went above and beyond in thinking about the different challenges drivers will have in this car with its performance. And a key point of that is the boot. That netting with the rails on the deck, so that you can like hold down everything that you put in there. That's an amazing idea and great thinking by Audi. It really is. Like, those are the little things that they're the 1%ers that make all the difference and set a car apart from its competitors. And this car has a lot of those features. The ergonomic placements, the way the boot's laid out, the way it's got the ride height adjuster so that you can get up tricky driveways and things like, and speed bumps that are like stupidly big in the city. All of these things, the efficiency mode where it goes dead quiet so you don't wake the neighbors. All of those little things, they're the things that stand out when you get to this price point. So honestly, guys, it unfortunately being wet, there's no real point in me doing a 0 to 100 check, but we all know it's 3.5 or under. There have been some YouTube videos showing even better, up to speculation obviously. But all of that aside, guys, phenomenal car. It drives way better than it should for the weight of it, and it is just a special package. I can see why everyone likes these so much. Viewers, let's do a roll and wrap up, hey, because I just can't stop driving So, my thoughts on the RS6 Performance. Absolutely bonkers performance, tick. Plenty of room for the family, tick. Plenty of practicality, tick. Hefty price tag, definitely. Just over 270,000 on road for this bad boy. I think it was about 240 something, including luxury car tax, but not on roads from Audi. And then it's about 270-ish once you're on the road and going a bit over. So, look, it's a big price tag. It's one of those ones where you've got to be pretty rich to afford it, or you've got to be leasing it. But also, don't forget, guys, the level of performance here, to extract that from a supercar in money value, you're probably looking at 2 to 3 times the value. So is this, in the supercar world, is this a bargain? You better believe it. It is actually an amazing deal when you look at the stats and you look at what it's capable of. It's an amazing deal. It doesn't matter which way you cut it. It sucks that not more people can afford it, but that aside, a phenomenal package for a phenomenal price. So Audi have really come to the table here and given us a car that is pretty standout, and there's no buts about it. There really isn't. The only things that I believe are so tiny, the nitpicky stuff, and there is no way I would not buy it because of any of those. They're all livable and they're all things you'll get used to. I do want to mention, the sensors in this car are crazy. I literally had a blade of grass too tall on my driveway, and this car decided that it wanted to apply the brakes when I was reversing out. That is bonkers. So you can dial it down. That is at maximum when I was doing that, so you can backtrack it a little by all means, but just be mindful of that and double check the settings. Don't think you got to live with that either. So just wanted to make a big special note there. Now the most important part is, thank you so much Exhaust Notes for giving me a few days with this bad boy, and thank you Audi for letting us have this car and letting us really experience what it's all about. They were really accommodating for this model, and we're very thankful for that. And honestly, we can see why. This car is, honestly, if you've got the money for this car, it's an easy sell. It really is. So honestly guys, I honestly can't see myself ever being able to afford one, but for those who can, I wish you the best of luck. You're going to have a ball. And all I will say is this: if you do get one, please use it properly. Don't just putt to the shops and back. This is a performance car. It's a supercar. It's track ready. Have fun with it. Do all the things that it can do. Experience the car and let the car run how it's designed to run. Don't just baby it everywhere. This is a performance car. Treat it as such. Definitely opt for the carbon fiber package, because this is next level, and this car is next level, and that definitely ties in nicely with that characteristic. Anyway guys, I'll stop jabbering on because I could go on all day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Like and subscribe. Let's go.